Friday, June 19th, 2020 edition of the Clemson Dubcast. Hope everybody out there is being safe and careful. Numbers, especially in South Carolina, of the virus going up. So please be safe, be smart. At TigerIllustrated.com, we have had the ongoing In Their Words series, talking with former Clemson players. It's been a lot of fun to hear their thoughts on the program, what they're up to now. Mark Buckholtz is the most recent one we have up. Man, that guy, he's raising 3 small children with his wife. He is also a 3 handicap and playing in a bunch of amateur competitive tournaments. And, oh, by the way, he's also training for a full Ironman competition. Really impressive stuff there from Mark Buckholtz. Title sponsor of the podcast since the very day we began, Parham Smith & Archingham Law Firm in downtown Greenville. I've known Blake Smith for a long time. I guess about 10 or 12 years ago, he helped me with the situation involving some possible medical malpractice, gave me some great advice, and it wasn't just preferential treatment. That's how he and his staff, which includes Brooke Archinhold, handle every case. They are founded on a dedication to helping injured individuals throughout South Carolina. Free consultations. Phone number 864-990-4581 or online at parhamlaw.com, P-A-R-H-A-M law.com. Another loyal supporter of the Dubcast is Blackacre Law Firm in Greenville, a subsidiary of Parham Smith & Archinhold. Blackacre helps South Carolina residents achieve their dreams of home ownership by providing experienced professional representation for real estate closings. Attention to detail is crucial in real estate law. Blackacre is committed to making sure nothing gets by them preparing residential or commercial closings. Blackacre also offers estate planning services for their clients in the Greenville area. Find out more about Blackacre at 864-326-3507. Okay, for a lot of the interviews, the aforementioned interviews for the In Their Words series, we actually recorded and saved with the idea to present the sort of uncut interviews here on the podcast. So we're going to start that with old Ricky Sapp. Really enjoyed catching up with him a few weeks ago. Hope you enjoy. Here we go. All right, joined by Ricky Sapp. Ricky, man, it's good to hear your voice.
Yeah. Hey, it's good to be heard, man. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
I tell you what, I've been doing a little homework on you over the last, I guess, hour or so, which I guess means Facebook stalking and things like that.
Gotcha.
And man, I'm just, it's hard not to smile at you being such a positive force, whether it's your foundation or leading workouts from your home, and so good on you, man. Great job, first of all.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. Second of all, I guess we need to tell everybody what you've been up to lately. You live in Myrtle Beach, is that correct?
Yeah, I'm living in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Yes, sir.
Okay. What is life like right now for Ricky Sapp?
Well, life right now for me is encouraging people as much as I can. What I do now is I'm a substitute teacher. I'm the dancing substitute teacher. I'm not sure if you know that or not. So whenever I sub for these schools and kids, I dance with them and I get my behind beat because I can't beat them in these dances. But I'm doing that. I'm doing high school. I just started doing high school football coaching last year at St. James High School. And I do motivational speaking. And I travel and speak to kids. But I also have a message for adults as well. And then I have my own nonprofit foundation, the Ricky Sapp Foundation. So I stay pretty busy. Pretty busy, but I love it.
I guess not being able to be around kids for the most part with schools being closed and all that the last couple of months. What has that been like?
It's been different, because I was so used to, being around different kids every day, being around my football team much as I can. So, now it's different, but I'm still trying to, reach out to them as much as I can and, just, check in on them and try to give them some kind of excitement because, a lot of stuff is going on right now where they had to miss school, they had to miss some of their spring sports. So it's definitely different right now.
And how long have you been doing the teaching thing and the motivational thing?
Well, so I started being a substitute teacher last year as my first year doing it. The motivational speaking actually started, I think, the year before last. And I went and spoke somewhere, and then after that, it just took off. Had no idea I was supposed to be doing motivational speaking. At Clemson, I hated public speaking class. So
yeah, and you weren't a fan of speaking to the media much either. I don't remember.
Just speaking in general, man. So it's crazy how life works out. So now I'm passionate about it, man. I want to speak in front of as many kids and adults as possible.
Well, so okay, what struck you? Like, what was the big revelation? Or I guess take me to that exact revelation that you had. What were the circumstances, and just take me back to that time.
Well, I'm glad you asked. When I stopped playing in the NFL, I'll be honest with you, I was depressed. I already kind of struggled with anxiety a little bit, so I had the depression with some anxiety when I stopped playing for about almost 2 years, man, when I wasn't doing anything. I was stuck in my house, man. And what happened was me and Daquan Bowers, I know you know him.
Yeah.
Me and Daquan, we happened to get asked to go speak to this high school by the name of North Myrtle Beach High School. And I've never been asked to speak before in my life, but I'm like, all right, it kind of comes with it, being that I played the NFL in college. So we went and spoke to him. After that, they asked me to come be a volunteer coach. I said no, because I was still trying to play in the NFL. I was like, man, I'm not a coach. I play football. So, long story short, I ended up doing it, and then I did football, and then I did JV basketball for North Myrtle Beach High School. And by the time I got to JV basketball, I figured out that my purpose and passion was kids. I fell in love with these kids at North Myrtle Beach High School, man. I fell in love with them, man. I fell in love with them hard. And right after that, I'm not sure if you know, but I also do some personal training with kids as well. I'm doing some personal training, and this lady from Myrtle Beach Middle School asked me to come speak because they missed out on their speaker who wasn't coming. So I went and did that, and I spoke to him, and literally after that, I was pretty much asked to speak almost every week or every month after that, man. It was so crazy. It just took off, So that's kind of how it all, started for me. I always loved watching motivational speakers, and it's just crazy, man. That's kind of how it all happened, and that's kind of why I'm doing what I'm doing now.
Well, okay, take me back to that speech. What was it, that first one? Like, what was it about?
Man, I'm glad you asked that. The first speech I did at the North Myrtle Beach High School, actually, that first speech, I just talked to them about my experiences with life with, you only got 24 hours in a day, and what you do with it will determine success. I talked to them about the J.J. Watt quote, success is not earned, it's leased, and rent is due every day. So I spoke to them about that, and then the speech that I gave at the Myrtle Beach Middle School, it was for FCA. And that was the initial speech that pretty much took me off after that. And I'm trying to remember what I talked to him about, but I know I talked to him about some scripture from the Bible. But I talked to him along the lines the same thing as far as, what are you doing with the 24 hours? What are you doing when nobody's looking? And then I came up with the message that I'm pretty sure God gave me to tell him was, you have the power and authority to help change this world and make it a better place than what it already is. And that's what I started telling kids from that point on. And
then the Ricky Sapp Foundation, what's that all about?
So Ricky Sapp Foundation, I started it when I got drafted in the NFL in 2010. And at the time, I had no idea it was supposed to be, geared towards kids. But what it was I was just giving back. I always loved to give. So what I was doing was I was having events. So the Ricky Sapp Foundation is geared towards helping kids and just helping people in general. So what I do is I just had my charity basketball event where we have NFL guys come and they play each other. And me and Daquan Bowers coach each other. And the money we raise, we give it back to the school. This past year, we just had A.J. Can, who played at South Carolina, unfortunately, but he plays for the but he's from my high school, but he plays for the Jacksonville Jaguars right now. So we just had that event. We made money and we give it back to the school. And then I have my back to school project where I get 10 girls, 10 boys from my hometown in Bamberg and Myrtle Beach. We get their hair done, and when we give them a book bag. And then Thanksgiving, we go around and we give out turkeys, 10 families in Myrtle Beach, 10 in my hometown. And then Christmas, same thing. We find families and we take them gifts to their door. And, and then also, I'm sorry, I do a football cheerleading camp in my hometown. It's free. I give out gear. I have NFL guys come. I have a Pro Bowl cheerleader who comes and does that as well. So it's amazing stuff. It really is, and it's all for the kids.
What's it like to hand over a gift, to somebody who's not, who's struggling or what is that? How does that make you feel? And did you have a knack for that before, I guess, this time period?
I'm glad you asked. I was always the one out of the group when I was young and in middle school and high school. I was always the one that was fast to pay for everything or try to give something to somebody. And, that was just me. So once I got in the NFL, it just made sense for me to start a foundation. And I'm telling you, man, when I can give something to somebody, help somebody, it's just an incredible feeling for me. It just feels right, like it's the right thing to do, and it makes me believe that we were all put here to serve each other. So I'm just thankful that I have that in me. But it's an incredible feeling, man. I love it. I love helping.
Can we go back and dig up the times at Clemson and even further back, your recruitment? I think a lot of people would love to hear your reflections on that. What is it like with you having the wisdom that you have now and the perspective? What is it like for a high school player to be a 5-star, who is worshipped by fans, by college coaches, and everybody's hanging on your every move and word?
I tell you what, I wish I can go back to it. At the time I was a kid, man, I was like, wow, to be a 5-star, it is really, it's incredible. It really is. It's a good feeling. It's definitely an experience that I wish everybody can go through. I remember being in Bamberg, and a lot of people don't know, before I got to high school, I was kicked out of school in middle school. I stayed in some trouble before I got to high school, but I always had teachers and coaches that told me that, man, you have something in you that you can be successful. You're very talented. But, I was young, so I was like, man, what the heck you talking about? I'm just playing ball, So got in high school, we got a new head coach by the name of Ron Duncan. And he started telling me, he's like, man, you're gonna have the opportunity to play at a big college. And again, I'm like, all right, it sounds good. But then it happened. I started getting, letters and started getting ranked nationally. And then when that 5-star came after the Shrine Bowl, it was just, it was an amazing time in my life, man. I had every school calling the house and sending letters. And a lot of people don't know this, but I'm glad you brought this up, and I can tell the Clemson Nation this. I was actually looking at going to Florida State before I got really, really deep into my recruitment. I grew up watching Florida State, didn't really know too much about Clemson at all. But as I started going through the recruitment process, man, I went to Clemson for a game, and then after that, I said, man, I'm going to go back. And after that, I said, man, I'm going to go back again. And eventually, I fell in love with the place, man. It was just something about those hills. That's what they always say. It's truly something in those doggone hills at Clemson. And for me, it became an easy decision. So I chose Clemson. So it was definitely an amazing time. And if I had to go back, I would choose Clemson again. I really would.
Ricky, this is both an example of how I guess famous you were and how much people care about recruiting. But still, I think there was a a guy who's the recruiting analyst for Rivals.com. I think I'm getting this right. His name's Mike Farrell. Mm-hmm. Back then, he projected you to Florida State.
Yeah.
And people still, Clemson fans still will not let him forget that to this day. He's still getting grief for getting that wrong.
Oh, man. Tell him I'm sorry.
I'll share that with him. So it was legit about Florida State, though. You thought you were headed there.
It was really legit, and I'm telling you, man, they recruited me down to the last seconds. Even when I verbally committed to Clemson going into my senior year, a lot of teams didn't give up, but Florida State in particular, they did not stop. I'm talking about they did not stop up until even right when I signed the Clemson papers. So that was legit. He was right. But I just fell in love with Clemson, man. I really did.
So you had Coach Duncan, Clemson guy. Mm-hmm. I guess Big Daddy Ron West, was he the big recruiter?
Yeah, baby. Big Daddy. Coach Ron West, yep. He was the recruiter.
So was it less Big Daddy and Ron Duncan's influence and just more the feeling you had when you got here? How did that work out?
I think for me, it was more of me going to the campus and just having a feel for the environment. I mean, you know better than I do as well that environment in that stadium in Death Valley is incredible. And Coach Ron West is an incredible recruiter because he definitely recruited me hard. My head coach, Ron Duncan, he never, pushed the issue about Clemson. What he did a great job was he made me aware of all the teams that were recruiting me. And he said, look, let's get a list together and let's look at each of these schools, and he never pushed me towards Clemson, More than anything, what I would say about him, what he did, and this is credit to him, he made sure that I gave the schools in South Carolina a chance, USC, and of course Clemson. He made sure, he said, look, we have to at least look at the schools in state. But I ended up going to Clemson to visit for a football game, and I just said, man, you know what? I think I'm gonna go back, and I think I'm gonna go back. And then just that environment, man. I'm not sure if you remember, but Clemson played against Miami, and I ended up having to watch it on TV. But the environment through the TV was just insane. And I'm like, man, look at this place, man. It's crazy. So it was just more of me, man, just going back and just falling in love with that place, man.
Yeah, that Miami game where I think they broke the decibel record or something like that.
Yes.
It was super loud.
Man.
Super loud.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So in this era, some people might not understand that, this era, defensive, 5-star defensive linemen, those grow on trees in Clemson. Or it seems like it. But back then, it was unheard of for that to happen. I mean, it had been almost decades, I guess, since Clemson had even, won the ACC. So were you just thinking you could help build something when you got here?
And that's what, and that's what Ron, Coach West, that was his pitch. He was like, look, we got, CJ and Crescent Butler, and DeAndre McDaniel, Brian Maxwell, Jamie Cumbly. We got all these guys coming. We need you to be the other piece to come on and join this class so we can build something, So that was it for me. Once I started falling in love with the place, and, they was telling me that and showing me that, I said, man, let's go to work. Let's do it. And I had no idea that they haven't had a 5-star D lineman, and, I guess in forever, a long time. I feel like I should get some kind of trophy for that right now. I don't know.
So Spiller didn't make it official until signing day, but your recollection, they were still telling you they thought he was coming?
Well, that's what they were saying.
Yeah.
But me and Spiller, we played in the All-American game together. And I was working his behind there. And, we actually ended up being right across the room from each other in the hotel. He was roommates with Mine Rowe. I was roommates with Brandon Graham. And I was working his behind. Now, let me tell you, this is the funny part now. I'm working his behind. He ended up coming to Clemson. We get to Clemson. Both of us, we 5 stars. He takes the spotlight and takes the shine in my own state.
That's right. That's right.
And people don't, I think people kind of got an idea. And to this day, whenever we see him, whenever we see each other, that's what I talk to him about. Like, we still have beef to this day because of that.
Well, the second game, Boston College.
Yeah.
Is when he goes off.
Took the spotlight quick. And I said, man, you got some nerve to come in my state after I helped recruit your behind. Well, not recruit, after I asked you to come play with us and you took the shine, man. So it was all love, though. It was definitely worth it.
So that almost makes people think, God, what's wrong with this other 5-star? He's not lighting it up right off the bat. Did you
see what I'm saying?
Did you feel that pressure? Because of that?
I didn't.
No,
I didn't, because I was playing behind an incredible defensive end, Gaines Adams. God bless his soul, Gaines Adams. I was playing behind him, and I just knew. I said, man, you know what? I just got to sit here and learn from this guy, because he was an incredible guy off the field and an incredible guy on the field. So I just knew that it was just a matter of time before I would get my opportunity. So I didn't feel pressure. I just, felt like my time will come to play.
By the end of that year, so you guys, your freshman year, had supposedly, it felt like a groundbreaking win at Florida State. Start out, you had the Georgia Tech win, where back then it wasn't common for ESPN to be on campus and all that. Spilt the thunder and lightning, and then things fall apart. At the end of that year, what's sort of the feeling from your perspective? Tommy Bowden was under all kinds of pressure, and there's hot seat talk and all that. What's that like for a player?
Honestly, within that locker room, we knew that it was pressure, on Coach Bowden, but we also know that we had, some pressure on us, but it wasn't something we really talked about. It was kind of like, all right, we know what we got to do. Let's go to work and work hard, and let Coach Batson get us right so we can go try to have a great season. So it wasn't something that we just was worried about. It was kind of like, all right, we know what we got to do. Let's go to work.
Did you have a good relationship with Vic Koenig?
Yeah, definitely. Had a great relationship with Vic Koenig.
Who were you closest to on the staff?
Well, of course, Coach Ron West. He recruited me. And then, of course, Coach Rump. All those guys was great. Coach Blackwell was great. Coach Vic was great. So I was definitely close with a lot of those guys. But, of course, Coach West, I think, and Coach Rump were the 2 main guys. And then after that, of course, Coach Blackwell and all those other guys. But it was a great staff of coaches, assistants, everybody.
Do you remember the first time you heard the name Dabo Swinney, and then the first time you actually met the guy?
Yeah, so he was a receiver coach, and I remember being at practice and just remember, seeing how intense he was, how much energy he had. And I'm thinking to myself, like, who the heck is this guy? With all this energy. But he, I remember he coached you up hard, but he also loved you hard too, So that's what I remember about him, before he took over as a head coach.
Rice is a staple in my household. Man, we must cook it 6, 7, 8 times a week with so many different dishes. Well, here's an opportunity to have an exceptionally high-quality rice. Charleston Gold Rice, delivered to your front door. Good friend Don Quattlebaum, Clemson class of 76, produces Charleston Gold Rice at Georgetown's White House Plantation in South Carolina's old tidal rice fields. The property on the PD and Black Rivers dates to 1735. My family has eaten this rice, and we love it. You can absolutely taste the difference. Find Charleston Gold Rice at Geechee Boy geechie.boymill.com. That's GEECHIE boymill.com. Phone number 843-631-0077. Also ask them about their wholesale opportunities. Harris Flooring has been a major part of the facilities enhancements over at Clemson, not just with athletics, but also at the university level. And we are thrilled that they are a part of the Dubcast as a sponsor. Since 1947, the Junkins family and Harris Flooring have provided a unique shopping experience through value in their services, developing the right product solutions, and delivering on their promises. To check out some reviews on their work, just go to their Facebook page, Harris Flooring America. Rave reviews, just first class all the way. Phone number 864-642-6183. When they promoted him, one of the reasons that the athletic director, Terry Don Phillips, used in sort of supporting the decision was he said every time he would walk through the football office, he would walk by Dabo's office and he would see not only players from his position group hanging out, but he would see players from all over the team hanging out in his office. Do you remember that?
Wow. I don't remember, but I'm not surprised, man. I am not surprised at all. Wow. That's just the kind of guy he was, man. And he is right now. So I'm not surprised.
The day that Bowden is out, that's a bombshell, obviously. And then another one, not only is Bowden out, but this very energetic receivers coach is now your head coach. What's that day like?
Well, for us, it was definitely it was a tough moment because we felt like we let Coach Bowden down because for a lot of us, all of us, he recruited us. Coach Tommy Bowden sit in my mom and dad living room and recruited me. Mm-hmm. So to see him have to step down, it was tough, man. It really was. Just for the matter of fact that we felt like we didn't do our part to help. We hated to see him go, but we also knew that up and coming, senior class, me and CJ and those guys, we knew that we was like, man, this guy, we know he's going to do great things, and we hate the fact that we won't be here to see it. And I promise you, we knew that. And that's what we said amongst each other, like, man, this dude, we know what he's going to do, and we just hate that we won't be around to see it, because people will tell you, man, even before he, just like you said, even before he became the head coach, just like he said that guys was always in his office, people would run through a brick wall for him before he was the head coach because he was just that kind of guy, man. He coached you up, intensity, energy, love you hard, tough love. So, I mean, he already had guys that, run through brick walls for him. So when he became the head coach, it was like, all right, let's go, And I mean, he brought a new level of energy, that he still has to this day, and he'll never lose it, So we knew once he got the job, what he was capable of doing and what he would do.
I mean, there are things now that are traditions that back then, that first game against Georgia Tech in 2008, his first game. Mm-hmm. You see the Tiger Walk, and you're like, what are they doing? What's Dabo doing? Why is he doing? What kind of idea is that? And then at the top of the hill, you see him running like 50 yards in front of the whole team. And you're like, what is he doing? And now it's just a part of the fabric, of what he's built.
That was just him. That was just him. Now he made some of those changes that. I think one of the changes we was kind of like, at first we didn't understand it. The one where he said, look, we got to stand behind the rock. I don't want y'all all in front of the rock and all that. We was like, what do you mean? You got to go crazy at the top of the hill. But after a while we understood it. But he was that's just how he was. He was excited. He was always a high energy guy, So one of the things I did really, really love that he did, what he said was, we're a family at Clemson, so we're going to invite the students to come watch. We're going to invite the band to come watch. I love that. I really love the band idea because, the band plays for us at the games, So I thought that was amazing for them to come watch this practice. I love the defense ride song that they play. Mm-hmm. So I was excited as a player when they came to watch practice. And, and that was one of the things that Coach Swinney did that I just loved and respected him for doing that.
Did it take time for you to be struck with the thought of this guy's different, and to be sold on the belief that he was going to take them places?
Well, like I said, we already knew and had an idea. Like, man, this dude is going to do some great things. Once he got the head coaching job, he was the same guy he was as a receiver coach. High energy, faith driven. He's gonna coach you hard. He's gonna give you tough love, but he's gonna love you. So once we got going, and he got a couple games under his belt, it just made us realize even more. Once that senior year came around, me and CJ Spiller and those guys, Crazy Butler, Myron Maxwell, our senior year came around, he had implemented, even more new stuff that made us look at it and say, man, this guy's gonna do some great things, and we just hate the fact that he won't be here to see it.
Does Paul Johnson and Georgia Tech still give you nightmares?
Man,
sorry to bring that up.
Man, that guy. You know what? I got two sides to it. I hated practicing for it, but I kind of enjoyed playing against it to the certain aspect of. It was kind of like playing backyard football where you just had to find the ball.
Yeah.
But I did not like practicing against it, man. I hated it. And I hated the fact that he kept running it every doggone year we played at Clemson.
All the cutting.
Yeah, man. We hated it.
No punts in that ACC championship game.
Wow. That's crazy. I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Is that the most incredible individual performance you've ever seen that Spiller delivered that night in Tampa?
Yeah, man. And we weren't surprised. We saw what the guy did in practice. I still tell people to this day. Hopefully, CJ Spiller don't hear this, but I still tell people to this day he's one of the best football players I ever played with. As a man and as a football player, he's just an incredible guy.
How closely have you followed the program over the years?
Oh man! So for me, I go back at least once a year or twice a year. I follow him closely. Still talk to Coach Swinney every now and then. I go back and I try to work out. I go back and I see the people in study hall because there was a major part of my life. Maria Herbst, Wayne Kaufman, all those guys. So I try to get back at least once or twice a year.
Did you get your degree recently?
I got my degree in 2015.
Okay.
I left a semester early and then I came back and got it. Yep, sure did.
What was that moment like for you?
Oh man, come on, man! To get a college degree from Clemson University. Here's the thing, though. Catch this. Coach Swinney is not going to let you forget.
That's right.
So while I was playing in the NFL, he sent a letter to the NFL team I was playing with every year.
No way.
I promise you not. Every year, a letter came to the NFL team I was with, and they said, "Hey, you need to come on back to Clemson and graduate, buddy." So, and me and him got a selfie, man, and it was an amazing feeling. So for me, my mom and dad, man, it was my family. It was amazing. It really was.
How extraordinary is that the head coach, not just for recent grads, but graduates who left in 2009,
that's just who
he just rides them about that.
That's just who he is. And people always ask me, is Coach Swinney the real deal? Is that? And I say, yes. What you see is what you would get from him. That's who he is. I'm not lying to you, man. Every year, a letter came, and they talked about graduation. But if you've been following him, he's really big on that 2009 senior class.
Yeah.
He's really big on them. But he's also big on bringing people back. Because, Clemson is all about family. And he carried that tradition when he got the head coaching job. So I don't know how he do it, but he reached out to as many people as he can. And we love it. We love it, But that's just the kind of guy he is, man. That's just who he is.
What's your feeling and take on the program right now? What they've done, the level they've reached, a level that nobody imagined back when he took over.
It's unbelievable. I tell you what, it feels good because you can talk trash everywhere you go. but man, it's amazing, man. To go back and see what those young men are doing, to see what Coach Swinney and his incredible staff are doing, to see what the study hall, Victory Hall are doing, just to see that whole city, man, to see how it has grown. It's incredible, man. I'm really thankful that God gave me the opportunity to go there. And I can say right now that I'm part of that cloth at Clemson University.
Do you have a favorite memory from your time as a player? Whether it doesn't have to be necessarily a win or could be locker room, some behind the scenes, whatever. What sticks out to you? What's your the favorite?
Man, I got so many. Of course, the first thing that comes to mind is when you beat South Carolina. That's always a great feeling.
Yeah.
I heard about the rivalry, going into the school, but when you're a part of it, it's amazing, man. So whenever we played them, that was a great moment. And I think I remember my sophomore year when we beat them down there in South Carolina. That was a great moment. Another great moment for me was my freshman year playing against South Carolina. We lost at the last minute, but it was a really good game for me. And for the defense and the team overall, that was a great moment. I'm thinking about moments when, in the summertime, when we did those workouts on the field and all the guys together doing skills and drills. Man, those was incredible moments now that I think about it, because we was together that whole summer. We worked, grind together. That was incredible moments for me.
What's your take on this coming season, sort of being sort of up in the air and whether they should play, whatever?
Well, I definitely think they should play, but I'll be honest. It's definitely championship year for them, in my opinion. Being at what they have and what they got coming back with the running back coming back, and Trevor, and that amazing coaching staff, the weight room staff. So I think it's definitely championship year for them. They'll be back in championship again, in my opinion.
You were saying that Dabo really treasures that 09 class. Is that because you guys stuck with him and bought in? Is that what the biggest thing?
That's what I think. That's the biggest thing. And because, that was his first full season as the coach, because he took over halfway the year before, my junior year. So we was his first full season as the head coach at Clemson University. So that's why I think also he really values that class. So that's what I think about that. Yeah.
And then the NFL, was it the knee injury that you suffered in Philly? Was that the sort of what set in motion? I mean, can you take me to the specifics of that and all that?
Yeah. I don't know if you remember now, I tore my ACL at the end of my junior year at Clemson. I've never been hurt in my life up until that point. Came back my senior year and played on my knee, which I found out later was about 50% strength-wise. And then got to Philly and hurt it again and had to have another big major surgery, microfracture. And then from there, that kind of just set it off, man, to knick-knack injuries here and there with my hamstring, ankle, scratch fracture in my ankle. So, yeah, that kind of set it off for me.
Who did you – I forgot all about that your junior year. What game was that you tore your ACL?
Virginia. We was playing down in Virginia, and they had Eugene Monroe, left tackle. We was going at it. And I was kicking his behind, by the way. But we was down there, and I'm not sure if you remember, but even before that, the first game of the season that year, we played against Alabama, and I banged my knee up, and I had a bursa sac, and I had to sit out one game. Then I came back and played against North Carolina State. Then fast forward, that Virginia game is when my knee buckled, and that's when I got the partial tear in my ACL.
And did you know going into the 2009 season that you weren't full strength, that it still really wasn't there yet?
I didn't know because I was having a great training camp. I was making plays that I normally would make. I was running fast like I was before. So I didn't really know. I kind of had an idea like maybe I should have took a medical red shirt, which if I had to go back, I probably would do. But for the most part, I just didn't know. It just felt good. So, I played.
Mm-hmm. What is ACL rehab like?
Oh, my God. The rehab is tougher than the injury itself. I know that sounds crazy. The rehab is rough. But even before the rehab, for me, it was mental. The mental part just crushed me, man. Never being hurt, never ever had surgery before. So for me, it was the mental part. And then the rehab is definitely tough because they have to pretty much reteach your whole leg how to operate. And then the hardest thing about ACL rehab is when they have to bend your leg. Yeah, mm-hmm. That's the hard part.
So as you Philly, New York Jets, Houston Texans, Washington Redskins bouncing around mm-hmm. until 2015. What is that like, sort of trying to process everything and then gradually sort of comprehending that the end is near?
For me, it was rough for me mentally, being how recruited, like I was, and, coming to Clemson and playing at Clemson and then get to the NFL and, things not going like I thought it would go. So for me, more than anything, it crushed me mentally. I just remember going back in 2015, I was signed, to go play, for the Redskins. And I remember they got a new general manager, and I was at Clemson, and I was finishing my degree, graduating. But the fact of the matter was, it was a new GM, and I wasn't there. And I told them before I even signed, I said, look, I'm going back to Clemson to graduate, and it was okay. But, I guess when the new general manager came in there, I guess he didn't like the idea, of me not being there. So this is the crazy part. They released me, and the very next day was when I got confirmation that I was graduating from Clemson University.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's how God works. So I was down and out, man. But the very next day, I got confirmation that I was graduating from Clemson University.
But even after the graduation, you said you spent 2 years.
Yeah, well, and then after the graduation, I had teams interest. Teams calling, but didn't get a workout right away. And then I did get a workout eventually from the Tennessee Titans and the Baltimore Ravens. But right after, the Redskins and graduating from Clemson University and coming back to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, it was rough on me, man. I had no idea what was next. I didn't know how to even process the idea of me not playing football again. It wasn't a thought that I was trying to think, so I was in my house, man, for almost about 2 years and staying up all night and sleeping during the day, because I had no idea, worried, thinking about every aspects of life, like, man, maybe I can go to this team, man, maybe I can do that, or, so it took a toll on me mentally. It really did.
If you're in the Eastern Midlands and PD area and you're in any way interested in buying and selling a home, commercial property, land, need to consider reaching out to Uptown Realty. They're based out of Sumter and run by a friend of mine, Patrick Enzer, big Clemson guy, used to cover the Tigers in a newspaper capacity, longtime supporter of Tiger Illustrated, longtime listener to the Dubcast. The home buying process should be an enjoyable experience, so let Patrick and his staff do all the heavy lifting. All you got to do is pick up the phone and call 803-774-0435 or go to uptownrealtysc.com. Happy to have Founders Federal Credit Union on board as a sponsor with us. If you've been to a sporting event in Clemson, you've probably heard about Founders already. They are the official credit union partner of the Clemson Tigers. In addition to that, all Clemson faculty, staff, and students are eligible for membership as well as IPTAY members. Matt Gross is a proud Clemson alum and the vice president for the Clemson market for Founders Federal Credit Union. Matt's office is located beside the Walmart Neighborhood Market on Old Greenville Highway in Clemson. For more information, go to foundersfcu.com. If you're a business owner and your business involves credit card processing, you need to reach out to Tandem Innovative Payment Solutions. A lot of different ways that Tandem can improve your bottom line by shaving off some of those expenses. In addition to processing credit card payments, Tandem also manages inventory, schedules staff, tracks sales, gains insight into customers, and gets transaction reports. With Tandem, you're not a number, you're a neighbor. Learn more about Tandem at tandempayment.com. The mental health part of high-profile athletes dealing with that transition, it seems like not a lot of people, not enough attention is paid to it, like with the general public, in that, you know, the large majority of careers out there, you can do it until your retirement age, 65, whatever. But with high-profile athletes, I mean, that's what has defined you since, in most cases, elementary school. You've been better than everybody else at what you do. And then it's not like you have a whole lot of warning about the end. And then you're just sitting there at age, whether it's age 23 or 30 or even 35, like, what do I do? What is my identity? Am I getting that right? Is that the essence of it?
That's 110% essence of it. I was always the dominant player on the field. I was always the high-profile athlete. And when you always the guy, and then all of a sudden, injuries or whatever happens, you ain't the guy no more. And the tough part is when you don't talk to anybody about it, and that's what I did. I didn't talk to anybody about it. Even when I tore my ACL, man, I was depressed and down, but I didn't talk about it. Eventually I got back, motivated and started rehabbing with Danny Poole and his great staff at Clemson, and got back going. And then when I got to Philly, got injured again, that's when again my mental was being attacked, and again I wasn't talking about it, and people could tell, and they had me see a therapist, but I wasn't trying to talk to the therapist, and it took a while for me until eventually my body said, all right, you're not going to talk to nobody, well, we're going to force you to talk. So I started getting sick. I started having anxiety so bad that I threw up every day before I stepped on the practice field with the New York Jets. And eventually, after about 2 weeks, or maybe a week and a half, they said, look, man, we got to get you to a doctor and see what's going on. And that's when I started the process of giving a therapist an opportunity. Yep.
So this was going on when you were still in the NFL?
Oh, yeah, definitely, 100%. But I wasn't talking to anybody about it.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, as a football athlete, there's not really a space for you to talk about that kind of stuff. We're the tough guys. And that's what the people see on the outside. Like, oh, they tough. They play on an elite level. There's nothing wrong with them.
Yeah.
But what you don't, what they don't know is, man, it's just so much stress that come with it. And if you're not talking to nobody about it, if you don't have a balance, it can definitely hurt you. And that's what kind of happened to me. Just exactly what you said, man. I was a high profile athlete. ever since I was pretty much young. And to get hit in the face like I did with the ACL and then Philly and then so on and so on, it was just like a big snowball rolling down, and I couldn't stop it.
And so post-football, during that time where you were struggling with depression and just sitting alone, what snapped you out of that one?
Man, definitely praying, but had some really good friends, and that was there, and kind of had an idea what was going on, and what snapped me out of it was when I had that opportunity to go to the school and to become a volunteer coach. Mm-hmm. And to do, speaking to the kids. Because even when I started doing the voluntary coaching that year for North Beach High School, it was some days that I wouldn't even leave my house because I was so down in the dumps about not playing in the NFL, because the NFL season was already started and going. Yeah. And I still had some teams' interest, but no one was bringing me in, so I was kind of still struggling with it then. But those kids at North Beach High School is what saved me, because I figured out my purpose in life was kids. So that's what kind of really snapped me out of it once I figured out my purpose there at North Beach High School.
That's amazing.
Yeah, man, yeah, that's my love story. Yeah, that's my love story, man.
You have family?
Yeah. I definitely do. Got 3 kids. I got my mom and dad, 2 sisters and a brother. My godmom. Yeah, I got a big family.
Everybody doing okay?
Oh yeah, everybody's healthy, man. Everybody's doing good, man. Thanks for asking.
That's good. How did you get kicked out of middle school?
Oh man, listen, I was a trouble kid. Now, I was a middle child, so I think I had some middle child syndrome. So I went to school looking for, I guess, some more attention. But I was troubled, man. You won't believe it, but I didn't follow the rules. I tried to sag my pants. I was disrespectful to the teachers. And I had so many referrals that eventually they just kicked me out of school in 8th grade. And then life comes in a full circle. Now I'm in the classroom teaching kids. And now I see what I was doing to these teachers. So it's crazy how life works out, man. It's crazy.
So you're dancing, you said?
Yeah, so I always would dance in the weight room. So when I started being a substitute teacher, I understood that you have to be able to relate to these kids. You just have to. So I said, you know what? I'm going to call some of these kids out. So I started dancing with them. And I got the idea for the dancing substitute teacher from this trucker. I'm not sure if you heard of him, but it's this white guy that drives trucks. And I can't remember where he's from. But someone sent me a video of him dancing on the corner. And on his shirt, on the front, it said, "Dancing for Smiles." And on the back, it said, "The Dancing Trucker," because he drives trucks.
Yeah.
So someone sent it to me, and they said, "Man, you got to get this shirt." So I got one made. So my shirt says, "Dancing for Smiles." And on the back, it says, "The Dancing Substitute Teacher." So whenever I go sub for, middle school or lower, I wear this shirt. And they just get a kick out of it, man. So whatever class I go to, I say, "Hey, which one of you want to battle me in a dance?" And of course, I get 1 or 2 that want to battle me in a dance, and we go at it. And I record it, and I get my behind beat, but it's fun. So that's how I became the dancing substitute teacher. And then here's the thing: that same middle school that kicked me out of school, I had an opportunity to go be a substitute teacher for that middle school
in Bamberg.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And an incredible story. So I went there. The principal, Miss Denise Miller, who taught me when I was in high school, she's now the principal at Bamberg Middle School. So she said, how cool would it be for you to come back and be a substitute teacher at the school you got kicked out of? So I went back and did that. Yeah, man. And when I subbed there, I danced there as well with one of the students. I got beat, but I danced with one of the students there. So yeah, man, it's definitely incredible.
When was this that you went back and subbed there?
I did that. I think I did that early this year. Or was it maybe in December or January? I think, and I did that. So I just recently, did that. Went back and was a substitute teacher at my middle school that I got kicked out of. And the principal said, "We're going to put you in the class where you can see what you did to the teacher." So they gave me a rough group at the end of the day.
Payback.
I couldn't be mad. I said, you know what? I respect it. Yep.
Do you keep in touch with Jeff Davis?
Oh, man, you know what? I talk to Jeff every now and then, man. He's one of those guys, too. He call to check up on you, man.
Yeah.
That's just the kind of guy he is. So, yeah, yep. Keep in touch with him as well, too.
Yeah, that whole Paul Journey thing that he has set up, I mean, that's built that is built to set people up to avoid that sudden sort of pitfall after, when it's over,
It's amazing, man. It is amazing. Him, and he got a guy I play with, Rashard Hall, who's doing an incredible job. Man, I never thought they would have something like that, but it was amazing.
I mean, during your time, it was just Jeff sitting in that office in the McFadden building,
and we had no idea. And he was always doing what he's pretty much doing now. Trying to help and guide us to the next step. But now he just took it to a whole new level.
Do you talk? You keep in touch with Dabo at all? Yeah.
I talk to Coach Swinney every now and then. That's just the kind of guy he is, man. I worked the football camp at Clemson a couple years ago. Me and the Cornbowers did. So yeah, man. I definitely keep in touch with Coach Swinney. Coach Swinney actually signed some footballs for me just recently, early this year, before all this stuff happened, for my foundation. Yeah.
I guess in closing, is there anything you want to share about your foundation? I guess we can share your Twitter handle at Sapp91, SAPP91, and then the website is the RickySappFoundation.com. Is there anything else that you want to share?
And then of course my Instagram, the Ricky Sapp Foundation. But the only thing I want to share is, definitely go check out the website. But, I just want to share my message that I have for kids and adults. And my message for kids is, that they have the power and authority to help change this world and make it a better place than what it already is. And it's 3 things that I tell the kids that they can use to implement that. And the first one is lead, fearless, and then dream big. And then my message to adults is this. I'm here to put adults on notice because we are not doing a great job right now of showing these kids what it looks like to be an adult and to be a leader.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and you also gotta say you promote your workout groups on Facebook.
Yeah. So I'm glad you said that, man. Also, before that, what I do is I do a Facebook Live on Sunday, and it's called Encouragement Sunday. And what I do is I come on there and I just talk about stuff with the foundation, and then I just give some encouraging words. And then Tuesday, which is the best day that I think everybody loves, it's called Talk to Me Tuesday. And that's when we go on there on Facebook Live, and I have questions for them, and then they ask me questions, and it's just a beautiful dialogue, man, with everybody just going deep about issues. And then the workouts that I do is Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And Monday is called Move Your Butt Monday. And then Wednesday is Work It Out Wednesday. And Friday is Fitness Friday, which is tomorrow. So join in and work out with us. It's free. It's free 99.
That is great, man.
Yeah, definitely. Yep.
Well, hey, man, proud of you. Happy for you. Thanks for being such a positive force in your community. We need more people like you for sure, man.
Well, thank you, man. Thank you for reaching out and giving me the opportunity. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Thanks to Ricky Sapp for joining us. Actually, need to point out that was recorded about 3 weeks ago. So some of the more current events, obviously, he wasn't in position to comment on during that interview. But really appreciate him joining us. Also appreciate our 7 sponsors, please patronize them and other local businesses wherever you are that you believe in during this time. And once again, everybody out there, be safe. Have a good weekend, and we'll be back next week. Cheers.